Diversity. Is environmentalism sufficiently diverse given efforts to date, or should broader participation across race and class receive higher priority? Some argue that American environmentalism has primarily reflected middle-class white people and their interests, leading to actions over the last few decades towards greater diversification. The Eoctypes diversity axis considers the current priority of diversifying the environmental movement. This relates to the Eoctypes theme of small versus big action. There's a spectrum of thought on the diversity axis. To the left is the low priority pole, and to the right is the high priority end of the pole. Let's look at either end of the spectrum. Well, I believe that the needs of poor and non-white populations are already being adequately addressed by environmentalists today. Therefore, they don't require greater priority. Well, I think we must focus more on environmental issues affecting poor and non-white communities, and less on traditional issues like wilderness protection. Now, let's listen to some student anecdotes relating to the diversity axis.
Yeah, so I think diversity is a very big, important aspect to environmentalism because you can't avoid not acknowledging the diversity and that there's many different type of people that need to be included with like environmental justice and like conservation. It affects a lot of people, not just like a certain group or certain people. It includes everybody, and that's why I think diversity is really important because we're all in it together and even more people to contribute to like ideas and thoughts and events like creating things like people need many different people in these events, so yeah, I just think the more the merrier.
Yeah, diversity is important in the environmental movement because of environmental justice issues. And so, especially minority populations tend to face the worst effects of climate change, even though they might be the groups that are least likely to contribute to climate change, which is unjust. And so, I think for that reason alone, it's important to make sure that the environmental movement prioritizes the need of minorities and other diverse groups. In addition to that, it's important to have as many people as possible in the environmental movement. And I know there are stereotypes out there that say it's mostly white people who are involved in the environmental movement. And that's not true, but it's important to continue to try to break that stereotype and allow as many people as possible to get involved in the environmental movement and to be able to help everybody help protect our earth.
Yeah, I think that it's so important that Indigenous people or just people of color in general are represented in environmental issues because it's proven that they are more impacted from these issues. I think of the Dakota Access Pipeline, the Keystone Pipeline. I think about Flint, Michigan, and their water crisis and their ongoing water crisis. It's important that I guess all people are reflected in big action and institutional change, because there need to be some sorts of protections in this because environmental racism is incredibly prevalent. And I think one of the best ways to approach and tackle that issue is through big action.
I mean, obviously, lots of people think diversity is an important thing, but I think historically in environmentalism, there are a lot of perspectives that have been left out, and there are certain ideas that have been focused on that don't really address the needs of a vast majority of the world. I think specifically conservation efforts have frequently left out the perspectives of like often local residents in areas that are trying to be conserved. And I think those efforts would be a lot more effective if the people living in that area were more included and were more of a priority and a voice in those issues.
Where do your opinions lie on the diversity axis? Do you regard diversity as a lower or higher priority when approaching environmental issues? You can find out by taking the Eoctypes survey at eoctypes.us. It only takes a few minutes and will immediately give you comprehensive results about you. If you want to dive even deeper into ecotypes, the website has more information and there's even a book coming soon. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you gained something valuable from it. This Ecotypes video series is all unfunded work, so if you would like to support us and know of any further opportunities, please get in touch and engage with this video by liking, commenting, and subscribing. It really helps us out. So thank you so much and stay curious!